$450 million in losses just between Rise of Skywalker and Solo under this example, using really, really raw middle-of-the-road data, okay? This is why I say when you start peeling out the other numbers here, that Star Wars basically, those 5 movies, actually just kind of barely cracked even at the box office or real close to it. They might have lost a little bit. They might have made a few million, but collectively, they basically broke even at the box office. And people think of how profitable Star Wars was and all this. This is why I'm saying, nah, brah, it really isn't.
Renegade Online.
Star Wars movie with the highest profits. So what Caroline has done, now that the final bit of reporting has come in from the final movie, The Rise of Palpatine, Caroline has gone in here and created basically a completed list here. Okay? And you guys know the story. Y'all are educated enough. You've watched me enough. You've read Caroline enough. You've seen me cited in her articles a number of times that y'all know that this is based on data collection from publicly filed records in the United Kingdom. Okay? Now, to cut to the chase here, talking about Star Wars, this is it. Okay, this is the Disney Star Wars stuff specifically, okay? Rogue One, and she's got the return on investment figures here, the profit and loss figures here. So you look here, you got Rogue One, total cost chimed in. Now, this is what Disney, Lucasfilm, paid to make this film before they got a film tax credit. What Disney paid to make the film, $327 million. Last Jedi, $414 million. The Force Awakens, $638.9 million cost of production. Rise of Skywalker, $593.7 million. And then Solo at $365.7 million. Now, you go to the next column, you got your tax credits right there. $56 million, $71 million, $103, $103, $65.9. So they brought that net cost of production down. Rogue One to $271, Last Jedi to $343 million, Force Awakens to $535, Rise of Skywalker to $490 million, Solo down to $300, just shy of $300 million. So in any case here, what we've got is a total net spending that you can see movie by movie. Still all some of the most expensive films ever made. So what Caroline does is she just takes a raw 50% of the box office. Now, we could make those numbers more specific if we dug in even harder. Because again, Caroline is just trying to give a very cursory glance. I did a comprehensive video on this about, I think, 2 years ago now, the real cost of Star Wars, maybe about a year and a half. And again, some of these, these numbers have been a little bit more updated since then. But I basically posited that Star Wars movies in the box office basically broke even, maybe lost a little bit, maybe made a little bit, but, margin of error, we said they maybe about broke even. Now, people look at this and they say, well, look, profit, right? Those are all positive numbers except for Solo. In other words, nobody argues that Solo lost money at the box office because there's really no way around it, right? Solo lost $103.3 million at the box office, but that was on production. Profit and loss, Rogue One, $258. Profit, Last Jedi, $324. Profit, Force Awakens, $500 million. Profit, Rise of Skywalker, $48 million. As Pro is pointing out, people look at this right here and they stop and they go, see, Valiant was wrong. Everybody's wrong. Star Wars made money. The problem is, and Caroline points this out and has always pointed this out in every article she's written that people don't seem to read thoroughly enough, that this is only on the cost of production. Because these production entities that file in the UK are only allowed to list production costs because that's all you're getting film tax credits on, and only for qualified eligible expenses. It does not include the roughly $200 million that Disney spent to market per film. Per film.
Right. So now let's read. Yeah, let's
redo this.
What are the numbers now?
Rogue One, if we take an average of about 200 million, I say average because I'm going to tell you right now, Rise of Skywalker, they were $250 million. Force Awakens, they were probably $250 million plus dollars, plus all the marketing tie-ins they had on top of that.
I think 250 million is very fair for the three main line.
Yeah,
200 million for Rogue One and Solo.
I'm going to say 200 for everything, just to make this really easy. 200. So you made $58 million on Rogue One in that case. Okay. Last Jedi, you made 124. So right now we're at about 175 in profit. Force Awakens. Okay, now you made $300 million. Now remember, don't forget, this is a raw 50%. This is not 55% domestic, 43% international, and China added a few hundred million to this, and this does not include remember, China is only 25%. My point is the 50% of box office figure here, it's probably actually a little high. Probably actually a little high when you look at the breakdown. And then you go to Rise of Skywalker. They're saying 48. Nope. Rise of Skywalker, we've been saying for years, absolutely unequivocally lost its ass at the box office, even with $1 billion haul. And it did. It lost about $150 million. It lost every bit of money that they spent on marketing for the most part, and then, some else. But no, it absolutely would have lost money. So Rise of Skywalker is about $150 million in the hole under this example. And then Solo, a Star Wars story, well, that's another $200 million on top of an already $300 million loss. That puts it at $300 million to add $450 million in losses just between Rise of Skywalker and Solo under this example, using really, really raw middle-of-the-road data, okay? This is why I say, when you start peeling out the other numbers here, that Star Wars basically, those 5 movies, actually just kind of barely cracked even at the box office, or real close to it. They might have lost a little bit. They might have made a few million, but collectively, they basically broke even at the box office. And people think of how profitable Star Wars was and all this. This is why I'm saying, nah, bro, it really isn't. And it's right here, and she's got the list for you. Okay?
Yeah, so where we get into it and where we start talking about they've really lost money is they also spent money to buy Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
So then you take that amount.
Yeah.
Then you figure out, well, they didn't make any money. Like, okay, it's debatable whether they lost or gained or broke even because it's really close. So you spent all that money to buy Lucasfilm. Yep. You made 5 theatrical releases that probably lost a little, might have maybe broke even, and then you did Disney Plus shows. And of the Disney Plus shows, only 2 seasons of a single show seem to have shown any assistance to the streaming. So what is the intent of those shows? To add subscribers. So if only first season and second season of Mandalorian succeeded in that, then those are complete wastes of money. Like, Acolyte didn't bring subscribers. We made more money off the Acolyte than Disney did because we got to mock it, make fun of it. Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker, man, they're loving Acolyte. And so Acolyte, Ahsoka, the Book of Boba Fett, we can keep going and going. I mean, it just never stops. That's how we get to this point where we say, listen, from a financial standpoint, Star Wars is a net negative for Disney since they bought it, and it's all because of Kathleen Kennedy. They put what? How much money did they put into that Star Cruiser? $600 million?
Yeah,
and now
$500 million and $2 billion more into theme parks. And I mean, you really start throwing it in, a couple of $1 billion worth of products onto Disney Plus. When you include the money they had to spend to not only create them, but to market them. I mean, the Acolyte alone, $250 million. Andor's like $800 million, whatever it was, for 2 seasons of Andor, something insane. I mean, they spent $2 billion making Star Wars for Disney Plus. And like you said, it's been 5 years. 5 years this Christmas, December of 2020, when Luke Skywalker showed back up at the end of Mando Season 2. Nobody's watched anything since.
No, and nobody's buying toys.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.